The episode starts off with Elf Guy number 2 being carried into an orc camp. They put him in chains, and he sees some elves that he recognizes. Cut to Galadriel, waking up in Numenor. Her and White Male walk through the town. She meets the Queen and asks for a ship to go to Middle-earth. She threatens the Queen, and things go south, until White Male steps in and calms things down with manners, and they part ways. Cut to random people on a ship we've never met before. Apparently, we're going to focus on this young seaman. Cut to the Queen being mad at the guy who rescued Galadriel. She gives him a sword and asks him to perform a service. Cut back to Elf Guy number 2, who's now a slave at an orc concentration camp. The elves get together and make an escape plan. They start an argument with some orcs over a tree. One of the elves gets his throat cut by an orc. Then Elf Guy number 2 decides to cut down the tree. Cut back to Galadriel, who's escaped the palace and is roaming the town. We find out that the man who rescued her has been ordered to keep an eye on her. And then she threatens that very man's life while she's looking at boats to steal. She finds out that he speaks Elvish and they're off to the
Hall of Law.
Cut to Galadriel, riding a horse on the beach. Apparently she's really into horses. Cut to White Male, trying and failing to get a job. He goes to lunch and pisses off some locals, then buys them some beer and makes some new friends. But actually, he stole a guild crest, which will allow him to be a blacksmith. But then he's immediately caught, slapped, and punched. Then White Male turns into Bruce Lee and kills everyone with kung fu, and immediately gets arrested. Cut to Galadriel looking through scrolls of paper. She finds out that Sauron's Blues Clues is actually a place on a map, the Southlands. She also finds his entire evil plan conveniently written down. Cut to the Harfoots dancing through the woods. The dad's ankle is still hurt, and they worry they're going to be left behind when the town migrates. Cut to main girl number 2, trying to look at some Harfoot book to see the constellation. She blackmails her friend to keep watch. She steals the page from the book, and we cut to the Harfoot town meeting, where they read off the names of the Harfoots they've lost in previous migrations, and laugh at how they've died.
Lovo Balja book. Bees.
The hobo looks at the stolen page and figures something out. Then he accidentally sets the page on fire. Whoopsie! He smashes through some Harfoot tents and stands up and struggles way too much, finally getting free and scaring the Harfoots. He finally emerges and calls out for main girl number 2. She gets lectured and then argues with her mom about destiny. Cut to a puppet show of Galadriel. Apparently, she's famous. Then Rescue Guy talks to his kids, young seaman and his sister. He tells his son that he'll be sailing with Galadriel to wherever the fuck she's going. The sister brags about getting into the Builders Guild. Hooray. Cut to Galadriel visiting White Male in prison. We find out that he's actually King of the Southlands, King White Guy. He tells us his ancestors swore a blood oath to Morgoth, and she asks him to come to Middle-earth. Cut to the Queen of Numenor, saying,
"The moment we feared, Father, has come. The elf has arrived."
A little late. Cut to Harfoots being Harfoots. Dumb Daddy Harfoot is struggling to pull the cart. Apparently his wife or literally any of the other Harfoots won't help them. The dirty hobo shows up and helps them push the cart. Cut to Elfschwitz. They start a coup, but then take a break to play some tug of war. Sometimes you just gotta have fun. Elf Guy number 2 does a Michael Jordan jump and breaks the orcs' tent, exposing them to sunlight. They retreat, but release a terrible-looking CGI wolf creature. Elf Guy number 2 chains up the creature, gets pulled by some orcs, grabs a branch, and stabs one of them in the neck. His friend escapes and immediately gets shot and killed by an arrow. The orcs throw Elf Guy number 2 back into Elfschwitz to meet Adar. He's just about to meet him, and we cut to black. End of episode.